Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back to my review of the Wilds. I have been doing the Wilds. Now I'm doing season one. It's only one season. We're on episode 6. And if you have clicked into this video or came to this premiere, thank you so much. If you're new here, thank you for coming. And I hope you really decide to go ahead and subscribe, turn my bell on, and definitely give me a great old thumbs up. I would love that. So thank you all for coming. All my information is in the description box. Like I said, what I'm reviewing, I'm just going to jump right into it, is this show I found on Amazon Prime. It is an Amazon Prime original, and it is called The Wilds. I just found it so interesting just because it reminded me of Lost. A small recap. There were 9 girls on an airplane. The plane goes down on an island, just like Lost, goes down on the island, and they have been in survival mode ever since. And if you want to know what happened, please go back and watch the other episodes. They're all in my playlist. Episode 1, I told you that one of the girls had passed away, so now we're down to 8 of the girls, and there's just been so much craziness going on. And then the last episode 5 that I just talked about last week, Leia is kind of talking to one of the headquarter counselors about her breakdown that she had regarding her boyfriend that is too old for her. And he left her because of her age. So she's just having a hard time altogether. The girls on the island had ate some, I just said in episode 5, the girls on the island had ate some muzzles, and it was just a whole lot going on. So that's a recap. Let me just jump right into season 1, episode 6. And I hope you guys are enjoying this review of The Wilds. There is 10 episodes in this season. There's only one season so far. They're working on 2. I don't know if I'm going to review 2 because honestly, I don't even know who's really enjoying the reviews or not. So let me know your feedback in the comments, okay? But I also didn't want to get here and start and then midway say, oh, forget it. Nobody's listening to me about that. That's not cool either. So I'm going to finish what I started. So now we are on episode 6. Now let me just look back and make sure there's anything I want to talk about from the, I got my notes, okay? Oh yeah, so the girls, there was just a lot going on in episode 5, and Leia is talking about it to the counselor. One of the men is counseling her, and he wants to know, because this show flashes to the island. It flashes to their life before they got on the plane, and it flashes to their life after the island when they're in a place we call headquarters. So, um, you know, that's why I kind of jump around a little bit, just because that's how the show is. But it's still very, very enjoyable. All right, so now we're jumping right into episode 6. You remember I told you on episode 1 that one of the girls had passed away. Now we're on episode 6. So headquarters, because mind you, when you watch the other show, the other reviews, I'll put them at the end of this video. You'll see that there is somebody watching these girls from the airplane that went down on the island. They don't know that though. They just think they're stranded with no help. They don't realize this whole thing is being manufactured and watched by a lady named Gretchen in what I like to call headquarters. So this episode starts off with Gretchen, the lady from headquarters, and she sent somebody to go get the body. The thing is, they had to try to sneak, like I said in episode 5, to go get the body and get the girl out of there because the girls had buried the body and everything. So one of the girls, her name is Leia, she's having a hard time now because she keeps thinking about the body that disappeared of the girl from the plane. So she's really, really struggling with it, and it's causing her to really start flipping out. But she doesn't know that there's somebody in headquarters that sent a guy to go get the body. So this episode segues right into the guy who went to get the body pulling up on Gretchen in headquarters with the body in the trunk. Gretchen is the big boss. She's the one operating this whole thing. Gretchen starts having a hard time processing that she lost one of these teenage girls. Because you got to remember, she convinced the parents to send them to some kind of fancy resort. There was no resort. The parents are thinking they're sending their troubled kids to a resort to become better women. So it wasn't in the plan to lose somebody for one of the kids to die, because how do you explain that to the parents who think they're in a rich resort. So, when the car pulls up with the girl in it, Gretchen feels all kinds of guilt. She starts crying, signs herself into psychiatrist. She decided to go get some help so she can talk to somebody and mentally try to get herself together. Because she doesn't want to look at herself as the big bad monster that got these girls on an island with no nothing, no food, no clothes, no. They're literally surviving off of whatever they find in the ocean. If they can find an animal in the woods, they're killing it and eating it. So she doesn't want to feel guilt. She wants to feel like she's doing it for a better cause, for an experiment that they're trying to see. So in her mind, she's convincing herself that it's an experiment that's going to help the world. You know what I mean? So the guilt from losing a child, one of the girls, is really starting to eat up at her. So she went ahead and checked herself into counseling. And one of the effects of her feeling guilty and being stressed and anxiety, she does this a lot. And her whole spot on her neck is just turning red because some people bite their nails. She's doing this. So, anyways, it flashes. Now she's gone. Gretchen's gone into the counseling. We'll get back to her. Now we're flashing to Leah, which is she's at headquarters. She's speaking to one of the counselors, and she's angry because she feels like they won't let her see the other girls. She wants to see the other girls. She's laying in an empty room. They're watching her from the cameras because they're flashed into their life after the island. So she's mad that she's not able to see anybody. So the counselor sits down and says, okay, then let's talk about some of the reasons why you're so angry. Because I found that you were angry also on the island. So he wants her to explain why she was so angry on the island. So she starts telling them about the time on the island when all the girls were getting along. That made her smile because they were actually having a good time. Because think about it, they're at each other's throat all the time. So if she has one memory with them being good, she's kind of holding on to that. And so she was feeling the anxiety because she told him she started feeling anxiety because the body turned up missing. You remember somebody seen that body in the woods, seen a guy in the woods, but they said because she was taking pills and she was high that it wasn't valid. That was in an older episode. So they were saying, you didn't see no guy in the woods. It was actually the guy from headquarters trying to sneak and get the body. But technically, he got busted. But nobody believed the girl because she was high on pills. So they just let it go. So Leah is sitting up here with all this anxiety. She's sitting in the corner of the island. All the other girls are doing other stuff. Now, Nora walks up to her. Normally, I have the pictures in my background, but I'm having a little issue with my StreamYard. So I just said, oh, forget it. I'm going to put one of my old backgrounds up and keep it pushing. So sorry I don't have the pictures to point at the girls for y'all. But if you pull up the wilds maybe in YouTube, or if you go to Amazon Prime, because I'm sure other people are also watching the wilds. I'm sure it's on YouTube. You'll be able to see the girls. So Nora comes up to Leah because she can see her sitting in the island looking very stressed out. So she offers her journal because that's one of the things that floated up, in the suitcase on the island. So she's letting her know if you start writing down everything you're feeling, you'll feel better. So she gave her journal and her pen. At first, Nora was a little bit like, that's okay. But when Nora walked away and left it with her, she started writing down viciously in the notebook. One of the things she was writing is she thought that Shelby, which was the blonde girl that I showed y'all in all the other episodes, she started writing down that Shelby was acting suspicious. So that was one of the things she started writing. And of course, she starts writing about her anxiety and stuff. So let me see. Where's my glasses? Oh, let me get my glasses. And then she started thinking back about her life before the island with this boy named, this was after the breakup with the guy that was too old for her, that she is heartbroken from. She was trying to act normal by dating one of the kids in her school. This guy named Ian liked her a lot. So she started thinking about it on the island about Ian and how they were in the tent. They went camping and Ian had kissed her. And when he was kissing her and feeling up on her and stuff, she started breaking down crying. So Ian's like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's happening is she's still not over the guy that's in his 30s. Mind you, she's 17, 16 years old. She lied to this guy and told him she was old enough. When he found out, he dumped her like a hot potato. Okay? So she is mentally still in love with him and won't let it go. So she's in the tent with Ian. They're about to get busy, but she starts crying. Ian's like not knowing what's happening, what is going on. So she let him know that it's because she's still thinking about the ex and how, how hurt she is from that. You know what I mean? Can you imagine us sitting there making out and that's what's going on? Okay. So after she starts crying, it flashes to Rachel on the island. Rachel runs up to the girls. Rachel is the black girl I talked about that was a swimming champion and had a lot of issues with her sister and her parents and wanting to be a perfectionist. Well, Rachel is on the island. All the girls are sitting down on the side. Mind you, food is scarce. So if they find any type of food, they're very excited. So Rachel comes with a bag in her hand and she's going, I got food. Y'all won't believe what I found. You won't believe what I found. So they're calling her over and she's dancing. She's doing all the little latest moves because they're teenagers. So she brings her whole bag full of mussels that she found, I guess, in the ocean. So, mussels it has the shell and this and that. So all the girls are dancing and they're all excited because food is a rare thing there. So for them, that bag of mussels might as well have been steak, honey. So they grab the mussels and they're all eating them. Mind you, there's no way to clean them or anything like that. Whatever they find in the ocean, they just gotta go for it. So they're eating them. Some of the girls are being kind of fresh with the mussels. One of the girls is a gay girl. Her name is Tony, I believe. Yeah, Tony. Tony is a homosexual. So Tony's eating her muzzle like, doing the most. And all the other girls are laughing like, "Ooh, Tony, go Tony, go Tony." Shelby, the blonde preppy one that comes from a very like rich Sadiq family, she starts screaming, "This is not funny. This is not funny. What she's doing is fresh. It's awful. I am a Christian. I don't like it." She doesn't like it and she storms off. Everybody gets mad at Shelby because they feel like she's being homophobic. So they don't like her reaction to Tony eating the muzzle as if she was with a girl. Because remind you, none of them can be with a guy. They can't be with a girl. Whatever your sexual preference is, they can't have it. So Tony being fresh with the muzzle, cleaning out the shell and all that, put them in the mind of having a partner. Shelby storms off because God forbid you be you be a homosexual and she's a Christian and her ears can't hear it and she can't see that kind of stuff and stop it, stop it, stop it. You know what I mean? So she storms off. Then Tony storms off because she's mad that Shelby was acting like that. Now Tony's best friend is a girl named Martha. And Martha told Shelby, "You were wrong for that." She told her, "You were wrong for that." And Shelby just was like, "Well, I'm a Christian and I don't need to be hearing this kind of stuff." And, everybody's all upset with her, so they just started, they moved on from it. All of a sudden, now that they're moved on from Shelby because one of the girls came up and she was sick. All of a sudden, there was only one girl, and I believe it was Leia who didn't eat the mussels because she's allergic to them. Was it Leia? Let me check and see. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah. So yeah, one of the girls. I don't know if it was Leia. I don't remember which girl it was. I have to really look back on that. But one of the girls didn't eat it because they said that they were allergic. Oh, I think it was Shelby. Shelby didn't eat the mussels because she said she was allergic. So she didn't eat it, which Leia thought that Shelby was just being a diva. But anyways, all of a sudden, one of the girls started getting sick all over the place, and all of the girls were getting sick at the same time. Everybody was getting sick, you know, projectile sick, like awful. Clearly, it's from the muzzles. So Leia is the one that's always taken over. And so I'm sorry, Dottie is the one that's always taken over. So Dottie said to Leia, "Go get the black bag in the woods because that's where the medication is. Bring it back here. I got to give these girls some pills to get rid of the nausea." So Leah runs to go get the black bag. She grabs the bag instead of going back to so that Dottie can give it to all the girls. She sees Shelby in the woods because, mind you, Shelby didn't eat no muzzle, so Shelby's not it's sick. She sees Shelby in the woods walking around. She drops the bag on the side and chases behind Shelby, trying to sneak and see what Shelby's going to do because she doesn't trust her. So after a while of following Shelby and not really seeing anything happen from it, she decides, oh shoot, I forgot to bring the bag back to the girls who are sick. So she comes back, but the bag had fell from the stoop she had it on, the tree stump she had it on, and all the pills were on the ground. So she's trying to pick them all up, dirt and everything, throwing it back in the bag. Runs back to Dottie and gives it to her. Dottie is yelling and screaming like, "Where's all the pills? We're missing one, and that's the one we need. We only have one left." She gave it to everybody, but there was only one left, and two girls that were still really really sick. That was Martha and Tony. That was still like really really sick, But she only had one pill. So the girls had to make a decision on who they were going to give it to. So Dottie went over to Martha and Tony, who were holding each other, and said to Martha, because Tony seemed really bad, she said to Martha, "I don't know what to do. There's one pill. Leah dropped the bag and she didn't bring back all the pills." So Martha said, "Dottie's more sick than me. Tony's more sick than me. Give it to her." So Shelby runs up, sees what's going on, and Shelby says, "I'll give it to her. I'll give it to her." Mind you, Shelby was the one that's homophobic when Tony was doing the gestures of being with a woman. So Tony said, through her closed eyes and sweat pouring down her face, almost on her deathbed, "I don't want Shelby to give nothing to me. I'm not talking to her. I don't like her." She doesn't want Shelby to be the one to give it to her because she doesn't trust her. Shelby insists. So she jumps on top of Tony, who is laying on the ground. She jumps on top of her, forces her mouth open, forces the pills in there, holds her mouth closed so she can't spit them out. So Tony has no choice but to swallow them. She said, "Don't be stupid. Just because I don't like what you were doing doesn't mean you shouldn't take these pills." So she forced her to have it. So now, in the meantime, the other girls who were all really sick were starting to come back to normal. They were getting better. Martha was the only one who didn't get a pill. So Dottie yells at Leah to go back in the woods and find that other pill because they need it for Martha now that they gave the only one they had left to Tony. So Leah takes off and goes back into the woods to look for the pill. Okay. Let me see. All right. Okay. So Leah runs back into the woods to go look for the pill. Then it flashes back. It flashes to Rachel crying to her sister because she feels guilty. So they're still on the island. They're going to Rachel, the one who brought the muzzles, mind you. She has a sister on the island. So she's crying to her sister that she feels guilty that everybody got sick from the muzzles. She's like, "This is my fault. I could have killed Tony. I could have killed Martha. Everybody could have died because of me." Which was a valid thought. But she had no way of knowing. She brought the food. They would take any food. So it's just one of those freak accidents. What do you do? Um, so then, let me see. Oh, then it flashes back to Leah in headquarters. So now we're going back to them after the island. So they're still talking to Leah in headquarters. They're still trying to get more information out of her. So she's thinking about telling the counselor about the time she was in the car with the guy from school, and she's still trying to get over the ex. So she's in the car with some random guy from school. She's being hot in the butt. She's in there doing stuff with her hand to the guy. That's all they were doing, with her hand in her mouth. You guys know what I mean. And to the guy, being very, very fresh. It doesn't look like she was connected because her mind is still on the ex. So once the guy got what he wanted, he was like, "Oh, by the way, I got a girlfriend, so don't think that this is anything." She said, "No, I'm good." So he said, "Where do you want me to drop you off?" So he took her somewhere to drop her off. And so she gets out of the car, she puts her headphones in, and she's going in circles with music on and doing this type of dancing like in a trance. Like she's in a trance because her mind is flashing to her and the boyfriend that won't take her back. And she's in the middle of the street doing this. Literally in the middle of the street instead of getting the hell out the way. So she's doing all of this dancing with her eyes closed. Her eyes ain't even open. She got her music on in her phone, and boom, boom, a car hits her. Boom, 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 boom. I was like, oh. So a car hits her. You believe it, she gets hit by a car because she's in the middle of the street doing absolutely nothing, thinking about this ex-boyfriend that she shouldn't have been with anyways. So after that, after she got hit by the car, she was thinking all this stuff when she was talking to the counselor. So she snaps out of the trance of telling him about that whole story and about her getting hit by a car and everything. She looks at the counselor and feels like he is judging her. So she gets real upset. You're judging me. You're judging me. She starts freaking out. I want to leave. I want to leave. So the workers all come in. They grab her. She's screaming and they boom, hit her with a tranquilizer. She's out like a horse, honey. She is out like a horse. Like, it was awful. Now they're flashing to Gretchen. Remember the lady I said that's in charge of this whole thing, watching them from the island, from the monitors. So they flash to Gretchen, who's she's still in the psychiatrist's care because she checked herself in from the whole body thing. She thought that she would be able to just easily check herself out. Oh, no, baby. The counselor said, you haven't met the requirements yet. You haven't done everything you need to do in here to be released. Right when that was being said to her, she gets a phone call from headquarters because she's at the psychiatrist's office. She's not in headquarters. She has people there. She gets a call from one of the people in headquarters and says, everybody, we're watching the girls on the screen. They're all getting sick from some muzzles they ate. And one of them looks like she's on her deathbed. They don't have no medication. So he calls her in a panic. We can't lose another girl. We can't lose another girl. So meanwhile, she's in this psychiatrist's office. So she goes to the psychiatrist and she says, I need to leave. I just want to go ahead and get my clothes, my coat and everything. And I'm going to go because I got some things to do. And he said, nope, you can't leave. You have to stay here. She starts flipping out, screaming and hollering, this and that. And he said, nope, you can't leave. So then she said to him, wait a minute, I know you. Because remember, she's like a big boss. She said, I know you. You're the guy that's doing a job that's way under your pay grade and way under your skill. So she starts talking to him saying, I will get you a job worth your pay and at your skill level in my company if you let me go. Okay. Think about it. Anybody who's working a job that's beneath them, you're not really happy. All of a sudden, he's looking like, oh, really? Because money talks, honey, and BS walks. So he was, next thing you know, she was back at headquarters. So that tells you exactly what happened. He took the deal. He was like, oh, you're going to give me a better job with better money? You can get up out of here then. So anyways, clearly he took the deal because she was in headquarters looking at the girls. She's checking out everything that they got going on. You know what I mean? Let me see. She can see. She checked the island, but she's also checking in headquarters because we're flashing forward with Leah, the one who got the tranquilizer in the arm. She's checking out Leah to see how Leah's recovering. Leah was just waking up from she was just waking up from being tranquilized. So Leah was just waking up, trying to figure out what the heck happened because she was knocked out like a horse. Gretchen is watching the whole thing, and that's where they ended episode 6, season 1, episode 6. Woo! There's only 10 episodes, so we are almost done. I hope you guys leave me comments and let me know what you think about this show. If you started watching it since I started doing this review, let me know that as well. If you haven't seen 1 through 5, I am going to put all of those on the end cards at the end of this video. I hope that you truly, truly enjoyed it. I want to give you guys another little reminder. If you're new here, please do me a favor. Go ahead and hit subscribe. Hit the bell and give me a thumbs up on the video. Thank you so much. All my information is in the description box, so you can follow me on Instagram as well. That is it. Thank you guys. And I'll talk to you later. Thanks for hanging with me for 23 minutes. Bye.